Welcome to the Marriage Be Like podcast. We're your hosts, Kenny
and Kenya.
And we are so glad that you are joining us today. Listen, this podcast is here to discuss love and relationships, life topics, and how to navigate through it all.
Disclaimer, we are not specialists or counselors or professionals in these fields. We are a married couple who's got 27 years of life experiences under our belt. We hope to open some discussions, build communication, and plant some seeds. So sit back, enjoy, and let's have a conversation and grow together. Welcome back to another episode of Marriage Be Like podcast.
Yes.
I'm Kenya.
I am Kenny.
Currently,
yes.
You are listening to us. If you're on Thursday, you're listening to us on envision-radio.com. I need to say the whole thing.
Get that dash in there.
Thank you for listening to us on Envision Radio, and let people know that this is where you listen. And then also, if they miss it on Thursday, you can catch us on our website.
On our website or wherever you get your podcast on Friday.
Wherever you get your podcast. That is correct. On Friday. Envision gets it on Thursday
on
only.
Thursday, yes. At 4 p.m. Eastern.
4 p.m. Eastern. We forgot to say that, didn't we? You're
3
right.
p.m. Central.
That is correct. So this is our 7th episode, and we're celebrating love and Black history.
That's right.
All right. So Black History Month, this is our final week.
For Black History Month.
Yes.
It is.
For Black History Month. And I'm actually kind of a little sad it's leaving us.
I mean, it came and gone so quick.
But them 28 days be rolling through.
Yeah. So,
and so we're also celebrating love this month because of Valentine's Day.
That's right.
Black Love Day. So we're talking about several things this month, and we've been able to tie them all in.
That's right. Tie them in like a shoestring.
Yes. Okay. I said yes before I heard what you said. All right. So our last show, we talked about the 5 love languages. So we basically introduced to some and discussed with others the 5 love languages. And these are languages and ways that you speak to your spouse or even in a relationship. And we got much of the information from Dr. Gary Chapman.
That's right.
5 Love Languages is a book that he wrote.
Yes.
And so we got that information from there. We thought it would be great to spread the word here because it has, the book is in many, many languages around many, many countries. It has done so well. He is a Christian author, I believe a former pastor, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And so this was his gift to our world, honestly.
Gift to married folk.
Yes.
Gift to you.
Since then, he's written many other books, but the only one we're talking about is the 5 love languages here.
Yes. For married folk.
Now. Yes.
For married folk. Yes.
All right. So we discussed those. And we're going to talk first actually about Black History Month.
History Month.
This month we've been giving some Black history facts.
That's right.
Because I don't think we get enough of them. You know what? It is what it is.
Yeah. So let's share a couple.
Yes.
You want me to do the first one?
Sure.
All right. So Black History Moments. This week in Black History, on the 23rd of February, 1868, W.E.B. Du Bois. Did I say that right?
Believe so.
I know everybody say W.E.B. Du Bois. W.E.B. Du Bois, a prominent sociologist and activist, was born in Great Barrington, Massachusetts.
So that was his birthday. And without him, there'd be so many things we wouldn't have today. So that's something to celebrate.
Yeah. In Massachusetts, though, look at that. I was born up north.
Yeah, you were born up north.
Yeah. I spent a little bit of time. I didn't live in Massachusetts, but we would visit Massachusetts.
You remember seeing anything in his name or any markings?
I was really young then.
Okay.
So.
All right.
If I saw it, I forgot it. I don't remember now.
Okay.
So anyway, there it is.
No problem. I'll read the next one.
Okay.
Also on that date, with a different year, in 1965,
the 23rd?
The election, the 23rd of February in 1965, I'll repeat it, the election of Constance Baker Motley as Manhattan Borough President, making the highest elective office held by a Black woman. I'm going to say that again, by a Black woman in a major U.S. city, and she was a key legal strategist in the Civil Rights Movement.
Wow.
Shoot, that's not just Black history, that's women history.
That is.
That's pretty cool.
That is real cool. I mean, like Manhattan Borough President in the New York City.
All right, so he's from New York, people.
Yeah,
a little bit of height.
Yeah. Anyway, but I was doing it. You remember that commercial, right? It was some salsa commercial, and they were saying that the salsa was from New York City. New York City.
Oh, I don't remember.
Look it up. Anyway.
Okay.
On the next episode, I need you to know what I'm talking about. All right, let's move on.
Okay, so March 1st.
March 1st in 1890. And it's not February. but it's in this week.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So March 1st in 1890, the California Supreme Court ruled that Black students could enroll in public schools, marking a significant step towards educational equality.
Yes.
Man.
And honestly, we were still breaking grounds. That was set in 1890, but we were still breaking grounds just a generation ahead of us, where people were still integrating schools.
And so reading this, where in 1890, it took the California Supreme Court to rule that Black students could enroll in public schools. But in 1990, because that's the year I graduated, in 1990, man, a whole 100 years later, I was still facing those challenges.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, that shook me right there.
Yeah. I mean, I've had some challenges even in Kentucky. Middle school, I would say, was my hardest one because I went to a school that there weren't many of us there, and it was very well known.
Yeah.
And the teachers had no problems acting the same way as the students.
Yeah.
But look, that's the whole point of bringing these Black History moments. I personally didn't know any of the three. So, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that time period. So let's go on into our 5 love languages.
Right.
You ready?
I'm ready.
We're finished with our Black History moments for now. And we're going to go on into 5 love languages.
Yes.
The book again is by Dr. Gary Chapman.
And
so
you can go,
order it.
Yeah, or you can go to 5lovelanguages.com, the number 5.
Yes, the number 5. That's correct. Don't spell it out.
Yeah.
The number 5lovelanguages.com, and you can actually get a test there and see what your love language is. I'll repeat that because we said that last week, but I wanted to make sure that's said again this week.
Yes.
And so we're going to kind of give a quick synopsis of what we talked about last week, just so that we can, and then we're going to break them down.
Break it on down.
So what are the 5 love languages, babe?
Remember last week I said I'd call them off, but I'd forget one.
Okay, come on.
All right, there we go. All right, so we got words of affirmation.
Yes.
Physical touch. Acts of service. Gifts. Quality time.
Hey, that's just the concentration.
Yeah. It also helps if there's a couple notes in front of my face.
Yes, it is. But you didn't do it in the order that's on the notes.
No,
so you're good.
And I did.
He did close his eyes.
I closed my eyes, so
I saw the concentration.
I tried hard.
Yes. Okay, so let's go to our first one. How about that?
Okay.
Words of affirmation.
Words of affirmation. So brace yourselves, people,
go
as
ahead
we go
and
through
explain
this.
Words of affirmation. Go ahead, babe.
So, words of affirmation. What did I say last week? I like to hear the expression of appreciation and acknowledgement for some of the things that I put my heart and soul into doing. How's that?
There you go. That's a great explanation.
Great explanation.
Yes.
Of words of affirmation.
Yes.
Okay. Is that how you would? Is that how you would have said it?
No. That's not how I would have said it, but I like your version. That's fine. Yeah. Again, that is my least language. So I don't know how I would have explained it. This is why I let you do it.
You understand how because now this is your least language,
yes.
right? And
so
the one you're most challenged to.
That is my most challenge, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So, the reason why we have this. So now let's get into some examples, right?
Okay. Yes.
And why we had this drag out discussion last week.
Ooh, worked the sister's brain.
Yeah. Yeah. So what was your example, Kenya?
I don't even remember.
Oh, see.
I don't. I really should have wrote
fifth. Is that what you're doing?
No, I
you don't want to incriminate yourself.
I forgot.
You forgot. Right.
But it's all right.
Okay. So you said, what did you say?
Hey, babe, you look nice in that suit.
No, that's not what you said. That is not it. That's not it.
That's another example I had on top of my head.
Okay. I mean, we'll table that one.
Okay, if it's not it, then what was it?
I like your beard.
That is what it was. That's correct.
And I was like, what is this mess? What is
But I
this?
do like your beard.
I mean, that's fine. You know, you can like it.
But he said that was not words of affirmation, folks.
That's right. I said that was not where that did not
So a
fill
simple
my
compliment
did that did
didn't
not
do
fill my love
anything.
bank. You know, that
Whereas
just
I thought that it was words of affirmation and that he would be appreciative, and he looked at me all cross-eyed, and I was like, well, shoot, dang.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess, and maybe to somebody else. All right, maybe to somebody
That's
else
why I
that's
said
good.
there's a dialect within it, at least for
But
you, Kenny Grant.
but let's go back to my explanation
Okay.
of what words of affirmation is.
Yes, go ahead and explain.
All right. So now I like to hear an acknowledgement for something that I've put my heart and soul into. Okay. Now I may spend a little bit of time at grooming myself.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's why I was confused, people.
Right. So, but if my beard was shorter than it is now, you would have said that.
Yeah.
So if it was longer than it is
like
now,
your beard, I would have said it any length.
right.
If it's too long, I would say,
And
I'd
this
like for
is-
you to cut it, but I really love your beard.
Right. Okay. But that's all about your preference.
That is my preference.
I mean, your father wore a beard forever,
Yeah,
you know, and you're a daddy's girl.
I am. But I like beards. It just is what it is.
So that's where I'm like, yeah, no, that don't count. Because you like beards. Really?
But I really like your beard. That's why I begged you to grow it out. I like that it's gray and that it's graying.
Okay. People, you may need to email us and help us settle this one, right? You can email us at Kenny and
Give
Kenya.
an example. Give the people an example of what you felt like words of affirmation would be for you.
Okay.
Since that one didn't hit your love tank.
Yeah. So let's consider I don't know, maybe we'll say a chore, you know, maybe
what I said today.
Yeah. Maybe I was out in the yard trimming hedges. Let's do that. Let's say that I trim the hedges, and because a lot of times I get out and I really enjoy spending time by myself working on something that's therapeutic. And then you come out and then you say, "Oh wow, I like how straight you made them hedges." Now, what you've done is acknowledge the effort that I put in.
Yes.
That to me, that means now, because it's not about, you know, my beard is my beard.
And see, last week when we were, I don't know if when we argued about it, folks, I told him he was fusing acts of service and words of affirmation. And he told me that he wasn't.
So then,
but I felt like your acts of service example was an acts of service example. But you were saying that the words of me saying that to you was the words of affirmation because of the act. And I said that you're making words of affirmation a verb.
See, and so this is where I was lost. She just lost me. She lost me again. We never resolved it.
We didn't.
So our next.
But I did good today.
That's all right.
I understood.
This is.
No, I'll give my credit. Did I or did I not do well today when I gave you words of affirmation? When you sent me the text message, don't act like you don't remember.
Okay,
because I'm calling you out on the radio.
Yes. Oh wow, on the radio. Okay. Yes, and we'll talk about that later because that's I'm gonna.
No, because we on words of affirmation.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
But you know what? So what I did to try to help you understand, I took the acts of service out of there, right? So then I go into my closet and I find a shirt, a tie, a jacket, a pair of pants, a pair of jeans, whatever it is, socks and shoes. Match this all up. Color coordinated. It ought to be coordinated.
Oh, Lord.
And then I come out and say, "Babe, how I look?" And then you say, "Oh, wow, I really like that. That looks nice."
Because of the effort.
The effort. See, you affirmed my effort.
Yeah.
Right? But if you picked out the shirt and the tie and you said, "Oh, that shirt and tie looks nice on you." I didn't pick it out. There's no affirmation for me because I didn't pick that out. You see what I'm saying? Are you following me?
I see what you're saying. Yes.
Wow.
I don't think everyone feels that way. But yes, no, I get it. And I'm glad that you made your example because I also feel like that has changed a little bit for you. I don't think that you always felt that way about words of affirmation.
Okay.
It's always been one of your tops.
Yeah.
But I felt like earlier in our marriage, it it didn't take the dialect. I'm just going to keep saying it that way.
Dialect, okay.
I don't feel like it took that to fill your tank, if that makes sense.
Okay. All right.
You responded differently before. So that's why I felt like this was something new. And I get it. That's fine. We grow, we learn. And that's why we had our hefty discussion.
Yeah. Passionate discussion there. But I mean, I think in everything, it's really about what we value.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what I value. What is important to me is the effort that I put into it.
And you can't help how you receive the love. That's just your innate nature. It's just how it is.
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Receiving gifts.
Okay. So receiving gifts. So we did words of affirmation. That was a whole conversation. Now let's talk about receiving gifts and how that works as a love language. Mm-hmm. So receiving gifts. So if you give me something, let me explain. The person receiving the gift now knows they have been thought of when they're not around you. Okay. So it's not just the thought that counts. It's actually the gift that came from that thought that counts. Now,
no, wait, because I want to qualify.
And I actually looked that one up, and I have to give Dr. Gary Chapman credit for that one because the first piece was mine, the second piece was his.
Okay, so let me qualify and take a step back, just one step backwards. Sure. Okay, because here's the thing. Let's go back to what you just said, right?
The person receiving the gift now knows that they've been thought about when they're not around you.
Yes. And it's not just a thought that counts.
It's not just a thought that counts. It's the gift that came from that thought that counts.
All right. So now if my thought was misguided, follow me. If my thought was misguided, meaning then I brought home a gift that you did not like.
That's happened before. Oh, and what?
Wow. Dirty laundry? Like,
no, hey, I'm just saying.
You were too excited to say that.
You took me right there. I remembered it. I saw a picture of it in my head. I couldn't help but to say it.
But follow what I'm saying there, okay? And again, this is taking a step backwards.
Yeah, go ahead.
But when it comes down to even words of affirmation, okay, if I'm looking for a particular thing, if you're looking for a particular type of gift, then do we miss the mark? But we did try.
You did try, yeah.
If we talked about some of the food items that you like, Pringles and turtles and pineapples, right? But if I came home with an avocado, I'm gonna say that one more time because I want you. I want to hear your
avocados.
Right.
My whole face dropped, folks.
So, do you feel like you're receiving a gift?
I am receiving a gift. In a marriage, though, I mean, it'd be different if we were dating.
Yeah.
You may not know my taste, but in a marriage, I'm gonna need you to step it up, sir.
Well,
that does not work because you should know me well enough to know I don't like avocados.
Okay, but then that's why we had such a drag out fight over words of affirmation.
I thought you said it was. I call it a hefty conversation. Now it's a drag out fight. Every time we mention it, it's something different. No, it was a good discussion. Yes. It wasn't even arguing. There was no raising the voices and that kind of thing.
No, it really wasn't.
It really wasn't on what he was trying to explain.
Right, but see, this is where I keep talking about how important understand, express, and experience love is when we're talking about the 5 love languages, because just bringing a gift to you is not enough. That's because correct. It has to be the right gift.
It has to be the gift that would actually make me happy.
Right.
And you should be able to know that in a relationship.
Absolutely. So, I mean, that's taking it to, another level, right? But I think it's essential to understand that if you don't know your spouse enough to know, 1, what their love language is, right, and 2, how to speak it.
Yes.
There's nothing like, you're trying to speak French and you're using the wrong words.
Mm-hmm. Correct. I mean, and this was my personal example for that.
Right.
Giving is not just for birthdays, holidays, right, and anniversaries. It's listening and paying attention to what they like so that gifts can come often.
Yes.
Expensive gifts isn't necessarily the point. It's really thinking about that person and knowing that person and giving them a gift that they like.
Hallelujah.
I know that's
Can I
right.
shout on that one?
Look, hey, you ought to be glad I'm an easy wife.
I
I don't
will
even have to
shout
have
on that
expensive
one.
stuff.
Because, I mean, a brother likes to give expensive gifts, but, I don't have to do that all the time.
But I'm just as happy with pineapples as I am a pair of Jordan shoes.
Yeah. Yep. Because that's what she got for Christmas, some Jordans.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yep. So, anyway, is that your first pair?
No.
In all of our 27 years married, I don't recall you having a pair of Jordan shoes.
When we first got married, I had a pair of Jordans, but I had them before we married.
Okay.
And just carried it into, I think I got rid of them like once my feet were too big for pregnancy.
Oh.
And then I was like, you know what? Forget shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
it's been a while,
Did we give adequate examples of receiving gifts? I mean, we talked about giving the right gifts, and not just on special occasion.
Well, again, you have to know your spouse.
Yeah.
You have to know what they like to give them a gift. So on a general Tuesday and giving a gift to your spouse at work, be creative. That's the thing. If you know that is what their love language is, then be creative. And it doesn't have to be for any reason at all. That's what makes that love tank full.
That's right.
They want to know that they are thought of when they are not directly with you.
That's it. Think about her, dude.
That's correct. Or receiving gifts could be a he.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm telling my dudes to think about her. So
all right, the next one is quality time.
Quality time.
All right, so giving the person your undivided attention. Let me say that again. Undivided attention, not on the phone, but engaging attention.
Okay, wait a minute now. So I'm concerned because
you shouldn't be, because let me go ahead and say this. What's your word? Let me qualify it, because these came from Dr. Gary Chapman. So that's what he said.
Right. No,
quality time is.
Okay. No. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. That's not where my concern is. My concern is that quality time does not seem to be, and I said this last week, quality time is not higher on your list. One, because you're always calling looking for me. Two, you get mad at me.
It sound like I'm some scary wife who just needs you.
Stalker. No. No.
Don't even put it out there like that.
It's not like that. It's not like that, people. It's because I don't know. Like she said, I don't know when to stop.
Yes.
I don't know how to stop running. Not running from her, just working
doing projects. He gets so into it.
Yeah. I don't know how to stop. But here's what you said, right? Giving the person your undivided attention, not on the phone. How many times you get on my case about being on the phone while you trying to have a conversation with me?
That's true. And the other thing is, everybody can't multitask like that now. It is.
I do a wonderful job.
You do not do a wonderful job of multitasking.
I think that sounds like a game to play. Who does it better?
That answer is going to be me. You never win that game. Yeah, so quality time, and Dr. Gary Chapman, he discusses how it should be undivided. So quality time should be, and I don't disagree. I think it is harder in a busy life.
Yeah.
I think it is harder when you have a job that's, for instance, when you're on call.
Yeah.
When people have to text and call,
Yeah.
And there's no set time.
Right.
Or office hours.
Right.
So that makes it even more difficult. But it also makes it even sweeter when that time is set aside for your spouse.
Yes.
And there is nothing to divide the attention.
Yeah. Okay, so what I find really interesting is because we talk about going out to dinner. You think going out to dinner?
One of our favorite things to do.
Is that quality time? Does that count?
Yes, it actually does. And there was one example that he gave. Going out to dinner and then not having the phone, but keeping the phone in your pocket or in your purse and actually talking to each other, so that and setting aside a period of time. That was my thing. Setting aside a period of time. You don't give 5 minutes. That's not quality.
Right.
That's just it has to be both.
Yeah.
Time, because you can clock it, doesn't. That's just a piece of it. Quality time.
Yes.
It has to be, and it has to be quality time looked at on both ends.
Yeah. And so, like, when you go out,
from both people, maybe.
remember, and I think we've said this before on the podcast where we talk about being out to dinner and looking around at other couples in the restaurant and how
they on their phones and they ain't talking, they ain't looking at each other.
Just no engagement with each other at all.
Engagement is necessary.
Yeah. So it's not about just being there. You got to be able to, you got to be engaged.
Yes.
Ingratiate yourself in the conversation, or
yes,
like those big words, ain't it?
Or even activity.
Yeah.
And being able to discuss it later, whatever.
Be all in.
Yes.
Be all in. So, yeah. I mean, so what other things can we do to that qualify as quality time? I mean, I don't know that.
Outside of date nights?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sitting at home watching TV.
I think it depends on the person. If it's something that you're watching and then you all can discuss it. Some people like to watch TV and hear nothing else, like no one else talking.
Right.
And I get that. And if that's the case, then that should not be quality time for you. That makes sense?
Yeah.
But then others, if you're watching a film and you say, you know what, I've been wanting to see this film, or I've been wanting to see this show, and then you all discuss it as well, then that could be quality time because you're able to talk about it and see each other's points of view and learn more.
That makes me feel pretty good because remember yesterday we were watching a documentary. I know you don't like documentaries, and
I didn't say I don't like documentaries. I actually do. Some. I like documentaries I'm interested in.
Oh, okay. Anyway, but
no, I like all the documentaries you watch.
I've watched a lot of documentaries.
You love documentaries.
I don't know that I
like them.
Love them. But
you
I do
love them because you watch a lot of them.
I do.
I'm gonna just go ahead and say that for you. I like documentaries, and I like documentaries on topics that I'm interested in.
Okay. So we were watching a documentary yesterday, and actually I was watching it and you walked into the room.
But it was about Disney. So, yeah.
But you didn't start watching it. My point is you came in, and then what I ended up doing, remember, I would stop it. I would pause it so that I can catch you up and explain what was happening to you. That would qualify as quality time, would it not?
Yeah. And I felt like it was spontaneous quality time.
Yeah.
Because I came in the room to do something else, actually.
You did.
And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And so then we discussed it. We watched and we discussed it, yeah.
And even after we watched it together, I would still pause it and then we'd talk about what we just saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
And other pieces that I knew of his story, and then the things that I had learned from that documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool. So quality time, you got to give undivided attention to your spouse. Spend that time, engage, and pay attention.
Yeah.
Are you listening
and make
to
sure
the words?
And make sure that you both come out saying, it was pretty cool.
Yeah. 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 Okay. Can we go to a segment?
Yes.
Yeah, I want to go to a segment. We done did.
We have done words of affirmation.
Yes.
We have done receiving gifts.
Yes.
And quality time.
All right, so let's go.
Make sure that you put those into action.
Yes.
If those are your love languages or your spouse's love language, make sure you all discuss it and put it into action.
Yeah.
All right, so go ahead. Let's go to our segment.
Our segment, this week's segment is What Moved Me This Week. I was moved by, okay? So I'm going to give you a chance to do yours first.
Oh, no, you do yours first.
You want me to do mine first?
You're the one who said you want to go into a segment.
Okay. All right.
Let's do the segment.
All right. No, that's the game. That's for the game. So
I was ready.
Yeah. Too anxious, I guess.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So segment. So today we talked about, you mentioned pictures that I sent to you. I sent you a text today, right? So today I sent her a text that had some pictures in it because I was doing some pressure washing on a brick wall. And I was kind of proud of the work I had done because it was coming clean. And
you should have been, yeah.
Yeah. So I thought it was a pretty good job. Anyway, I didn't finish. I still got to go back and complete it. So it will be done. But here's where I was moved, or what impacted me this week. Doing that, and seeing how clean it got, right? First off, the most obvious thing is that when you start cleaning something and then you realize the beauty behind the muck and mire, right? You look at it and you see how clean
Right.
it has become, and wow, you didn't realize how beautiful it was. So here it is now, this brick, which is multicolored, and I got to see the beauty behind it. But that's the obvious thing. But what impacted me is, as we go through life, and we start maturing, because the whole process of maturing is learning and doing better.
Yes.
And as we do that, we begin to see more areas that we need to mature in.
Yes.
So then I'm cleaning this brick wall with this pressure washer, and I'm getting this area clean, and then I look up at another area that I thought looked clean and realize I need to pressure wash that too. You know what I'm saying?
You just saw the toughest part and
Yes.
took it on, and then realized, wait a minute.
The rest of the building needs to be done. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not like the rest of the building was really bad. It was just that now I've made clean spots. I got to go back and clean the rest of it. And so, and that impacted me, because as we grow, I talk about my health journey, and the different things that it has actually had a spiritual impact on me as well.
Yeah.
But then as I grow in this journey, I'm realizing, man, there are other areas that I need maturing in.
Yes.
And so so anyway, I just realized that I have a lot of growth yet still to do. Even though I made a couple steps forward, So that's what moved me this week.
That was pretty cool, babe.
Yeah.
Just the life lessons from the small things.
The small things,
Yeah.
yes.
All right. I like that one.
Okay.
I wasn't sure where you were going with it, but I like it.
Okay, your turn. I know it took a long time. Sorry.
It's all right. So my turn. Okay, so this week the song Big God by Tyrion.
Okay.
It moved me because at church our theme this year is Limitless.
Limitless.
Yes, which I love, by the way.
Yeah.
Kudos to Pastor Nelson Stokes.
Nelson B. Stokes.
I love Limitless. And one of the reasons why I love Limitless, because I never considered a limitless thought process, a limitless life.
Yeah.
And so when I saw the title, I was like, it was just like a light switch, clicking on. But anyway, the song Big God, the chorus says, I'm talking about a big God when trouble comes around my way. The only remedy for big odds is a big God.
Oh, man.
And when I finally love the chorus, now that's just a small piece of the chorus, but the words are so, and it's a fast-paced song. Normally I'm dancing to it and moving pretty good to it. But to be able to listen to the words and process them is different from when I'm just kind of just singing the pieces that I know.
Yeah.
And I finally looked it up and I was like, oh my goodness, this is my new favorite song.
It's amazing because how many times do we listen to a song and sing the words, the recite the words, never really take time?
I did not realize she said big odds.
Yeah.
That key was key for me.
Yeah.
And when I realized that, I immediately thought Limitless.
Wow.
So yeah, that's what moved me this week.
Yeah. Man.
All right. So going back to our five love languages. If you're just joining us, we've already discussed words of affirmation,
receiving gifts,
and quality time.
Yes.
So now we're talking about acts of service.
All right.
Doing the things for other person that they would like for you to do.
Okay. Actions
speak louder than what?
Words.
All right. Actions speak louder than words for this person.
Yes. Yes. I remember a good friend of ours, we either go to their house for dinner or they come to our house. So I think this time we were at their house for dinner. And I remember he said to me, I'm going to go and wash these dishes for her. This was John and Mel.
Oh, yeah.
John says, I'm going to wash these dishes for Mel. And I hadn't heard that before.
Shout out to the Fields.
Yes, Jonathan B. Fields. Yeah. Not everybody B. I got a Pastor Jonathan Fields. Yes. Yeah. I mean, he said that, and I thought, wow, I hadn't thought about that. Right. And I know acts of service is one of your one of
Yes.
your love languages,
Yes.
but I never thought to wash dishes for you.
Well, I mean, it's for me because I'm the one who mostly wash dishes.
Yeah, because I don't wash dishes,
Yes,
y'all.
and that's why you never thought of it.
I mean, I don't know when the last time I don't wash dishes.
Yeah, I got tired of asking you, so I just said, screw it. I'll
You didn't
just do
ask
it.
me.
I used to ask you, yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna need you to take that tone out your voice.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
don't wash it.
I used to ask you. So it's been some years, actually.
It has been.
I don't ask anymore because I realize it's just not what you're going to do. And you be mumbling and grumbling, and then you didn't have on a show or something to keep your mind occupied so that you wouldn't have to think about having to wash the dishes.
Washing dishes.
So then I was like, you know what? He's not doing it for me. I just was tired. I just need someone to do it. But it's all right. I'll just find other ways.
Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. And you know what? So this
But
is
that
where
was then. So I don't know how you do now.
no, I still haven't washed any dishes in a while. But
Because I won't ask you and you won't do it automatically, so it's fine. But I don't know. If I were to ask you tomorrow, would you have that grumbling mentality? And
no,
okay.
no.
Woo, I'm gonna need you to work on your 5 love languages, sir.
I know. That's why I love the fact that receiving gifts is your first. You know, man.
Yes, because you can speak that one better because acts of service is not on your list.
But you know, I mean, but here's the thing: when I go cut the yard, I do that for you.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Do I not?
I would tell you what, you would do it for me if I said, babe, can you cut the grass? Because the grass might be high or something like that.
Yeah, but
then you're doing it for me.
With you,
but in general, you're doing it to upkeep the house. That ain't got nothing to do with me.
If you had end up asking me,
that.
If you end up asking me to cut the grass because the grass is high, I'm not cutting it because you asked me. I'm cutting it because the grass is high.
Exactly.
So I will admit that. So
yes.
Yeah, I hope that your love bank gets filled with the Pringles I buy you every once in a while.
Yes, it does. As long as it's the right Pringles. How about that?
Yeah.
Don't give me the ones I don't like.
Barbecue. I would bring you some salt and vinegar and see what you think about those.
Okay, so for those who are acts of service, which is one of mine, I understand it as you wanting to share the load of life with me.
Ooh. Oh, wow. See, you're trying to indict me on this. He's talking about I don't do it. I won't wash dishes. I won't do what you asked me to do.
But it's not just about, it's not just about chores, but yes, it is sharing that load. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. Outside of chores, okay. I tell you what an act of service is.
Okay.
We drive separate cars.
Yeah. Yes, we do.
We drive separate cars. And that's another episode.
That's a whole other episode. That's a whole other episode. Yes.
See, people, this is how I try. This is how
we stay married. We drive separate cars.
Yeah, man. And
going to the same place.
It is wild. It is wild. It is wild. I can tell you the stories. Anyway, but we have separate cars.
Yes.
And without you asking, I can go and fill up your tank.
Correct. That's correct.
It's not necessarily a chore. I mean, it's a necessity, right?
It's a necessity that somehow I'll never want to do.
Yeah, I know you don't like doing that.
Oh, especially in the cold weather.
Oh, man. But it was really nice today.
Ooh, it was beautiful today.
Yeah. That's why I was outside pressure washing.
It was beautiful today. Yeah.
So anyway, okay. So this
one
relieves.
That isn't a chore.
One that isn't a chore. But okay, it also relieves stress.
Yes.
Because now
it is sharing the load.
Yeah.
It's helping the other person out.
Yeah. One example could be, I know you don't like this because you don't like baths.
Yeah, I'm a shower girl.
Shower person. But running bath water.
Yeah.
If your spouse likes that, then have that bath water ready when they get home.
Yeah.
From work, hard day, Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
Giving nice treats and being able to relieve the stress, share the load.
Yeah.
Of things that you would not normally do, but you know that your spouse does. So then help them out.
But cooking your favorite dinner with that?
For me, it would be.
Yeah.
Because, that's the night I ain't got to cook.
Yeah.
So yes.
So
please
really,
do.
so really, when you
Except
think
right
about
now,
it,
I'm not eating my favorite dinner. I'm trying to do better on my health.
right. So then, if I bring home a whole pineapple and I got to cut it all up and chop it up,
yeah, that is the best.
that's receiving gifts and acts of service
I'll
all
take
in
it.
one.
You know what? Yes.
There you go. See, and you tell me I can't multitask.
I'll let you slide. You can multitask with that. Yes.
Okay, what's the next one?
All right, physical touch.
Physical touch. Physical touch is an emotional power and speaks deeply.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yes.
So what is physical touch?
Physical touch, what it does is it for those who, especially like if it's their first love language. Wait a minute. Why are you asking me? Isn't physical touch your
Not my first, no.
It's not your first.
It was. It ain't.
But it's higher than it is mine.
Okay. Well, I mean, all right. So I wanted to see how much you understood my love language.
Yeah, okay. That ain't why
Ain't
you
that the
asked.
point?
That ain't why. No, it's not. But okay. Okay. So look, I understand physical touch as being something. Okay, actually, I can give it to it from her dealing with children.
Okay.
For instance, like working with daycare or dealing with your children, and they are, let's say, for instance, they're doing something they're not supposed to do, but touching them on the shoulder, rubbing their head, sometimes will calm them down. Just
Okay.
because it's a simple touch.
All right.
It's a calm touch.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to hold their hand. And oftentimes I'll rub a child's hand, especially if I'm trying to get them to come and walk with me.
Okay.
Because it guides them my way, because they may not want to walk with me, especially if I'm kind of correcting them.
Yeah.
You know what, Johnny? I'm gonna need you to stand over here with me. Just come on and take my hand. You can be my helper.
Yeah.
I don't want to. Yes, please come take my hand. Here, look. My hand is soft. Mm-hmm. You can take my hand, and then oftentimes that just
and your hand is little.
I know my hand is the size of a child.
Your hand is little.
But it takes down the defense. And so I don't know the actual science to touching, but I do know that it does calm the body.
Okay, so you know what I like? I want to share this. Mm-hmm. I said your hands are little.
You like my hands.
I do, because when I ask you for like a back rub or back massage, you know, when you're talking about it being calming and relaxing, I like that. It puts me to sleep sometimes, you know?
True.
Yeah. So, you know, and I think...
And it relieves stress?
Yes. I think one of the first things, and this is why we hadn't gone straight to sexual relations, right? Mm-hmm. Because most people, when they think of physical touch, that's what they think of.
Right.
Think of sex.
Right.
But it's more.
It's much more than that. And I would actually say, in my personal opinion, I think it's, I don't feel like, I feel like physical touch is intimate, but it doesn't have to be. And I feel like intercourse, of course, is physical touch, but it also is not something that has to happen as far as physical touch. When it comes to physical touch being between friends, between mother and child,
right.
Between if I'm giving a hug to someone who I haven't seen in a long time, all of those things are physical touch. If I'm touching someone's hand, if I'm congratulating them, that's all still physical touch. And it still ignites the happiness in you.
Yes.
But none of those things were sexual intercourse.
Right.
And so I would dare say that sexual intercourse would be further down the line on the physical touch situation.
I can see that. I really can.
So many other areas.
Yeah. You know, I mean, there's other meaningful, and if not more meaningful.
So congratulations, pat on the back.
Yeah. So, okay. You know, so then let's talk about speaking our spouse's love language.
Yes.
Because we've given the examples, spent a lot of time giving examples.
Right.
But we need to apply that. So like my primary love language is words of affirmation.
Right.
Right. But that's the last one on your list.
That's my least, correct.
Right. And then yours is receiving gifts. And mine, I don't think mine is the last, because I do like getting gifts. But it's on down there.
Yes.
It is on down there, right?
So out of 5, yeah.
Yeah. So here's the thing. We oftentimes, and we hinted to this last week, we oftentimes speak the language that we understand.
Correct. Yes.
We speak the language that we understand. The problem is that does nothing for our spouse.
Correct. And it doesn't fill your love tank. So if I'm receiving gifts, I'm going to give gifts because that's how I understand love.
Yeah.
But you don't understand love that way. You only understand love by the words of affirmation.
That's right.
Or I won't say only, but that is your primary. So I can't give him gifts and expect him to accept that as love.
Right.
I have to actually give him the correct words of affirmation for him to accept it as love.
And she better come correct.
I said correct.
So people listen, and I'm going to go back to what I said earlier, right, where it's really important to identify how we understand, express, and experience love.
Yes.
It is important to know that we have to speak our partner's love language, not ours. Because if we are constantly only speaking our love language, then our partner, our spouse, is not being
loved.
They don't
feel like
they
they're
don't
being
feel
loved.
like they're being loved. That's right.
And there's really no other way to put it. It has to be that frank.
That's it.
Because that's how literally they will feel, and then resentment will build, and so on and so forth, because they felt like you never loved them.
Yeah.
Whereas you thought you did, and they couldn't receive it that way.
It is game time. Ready? Da-da-da-da.
I was not ready. Oh,
you were not ready.
I was not ready. Okay.
I gave you the cue and everything.
You did. Okay, I'm ready.
You ready?
You ready?
Yes.
You ready?
Da-da-da-da. This is the wackest. Boy, that's.
Yes, it's all right.
Anyway.
I just wanted something to say it's game time. That's it.
Okay. All right.
That's the best I can come up with off the cuff.
So let's see who wins this game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm going to win.
This one.
I do or I don't.
I do or I don't. It's kind of hard to win this game, isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway.
Either way, I'm going to win.
Who does it better? There's comparison there.
There is comparison, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to win.
Okay. All right. I do or I don't.
Since you like to try to win everything, I'm just going to win now.
That's it. All right. The first one is like sports.
I don't.
None?
I like some, but not enough to sit and watch it like that. So I do like some basketball.
You like basketball. And I'm gonna tell you why I couldn't believe you just said none. You don't.
I didn't say none. I said no.
Because remember, we were on a cruise.
Yes.
It was in June.
Yes.
And the Lakers were in the finals. Mm-hmm. And the Laker game came on. We ran the length of that cruise ship trying to get back to the room so we could watch the rest of that game. So
I don't necessarily remember that.
You don't remember that?
I do not. I was like, okay, as he goes, I'll remember. Nope.
You don't remember that? Oh,
was
man.
Was it in June? Was it?
Yes, because remember, that was the first cruise we had on. It was Memorial Day weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's when I knew.
But I will say that as far as sports are concerned, I would probably watch basketball and nothing else.
Yeah, because you hate football.
Yeah. And when I think of sports, I think of the ones that you like.
Oh, okay.
Because I see ice skating as sports.
Okay. I mean, I'm not going to argue that.
I really enjoy ice skating.
But I like
gymnastics.
I like football and I like basketball.
Yeah.
And when I turn on a football game, she runs out of the room.
Ghost.
She disappears.
Oh, I cannot.
You know what I used to do? I used to have the games on DVR. She didn't know when football season was. So if I just wanted to be alone, turn on the football game and boop, she was gone.
Yep. I go watch Dancing with the Stars or anything, Hallmark movies.
Because if I was in the room and she turned on Hallmark, I would disappear too.
Yeah. Yes.
So there it is.
Yes.
Okay, next one.
Love the beach.
I do.
I love the beach. I love nature. So
yes.
I really enjoy the beach. It is
my happy
place.
The sound of the water. And then the sand be too hot for my feet as I walk.
Yes, I love it.
And then sand gets everywhere.
I love squishing my feet in the sand and just laying on the beach. I love getting in the water.
Love dodging the seagulls.
As long as the water is warm. I don't like getting in the ocean when it's cold.
Man, we went in that Pacific Ocean out there in LA and I about lost my mind.
Frozen.
I was so mad. I was anxious to get in that.
I have only put my feet in that water. That's it. That's it.
I wanted to swim.
Put my whole body in. Each time I've gone
in LA at the beach in LA. That was at Venice Beach.
What? I don't know.
That was at Venice Beach.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yes, it was. It was it. Yeah, it was
Venice Beach.
Yeah.
And then remember we walked down to Santa Monica Pier.
Mm-hmm.
But that water was so cold and I was so disappointed.
I told you it was going to be cold though.
Yeah.
But I still encourage y'all to go in the water.
Yeah, no, that wasn't happening. None of us.
I knew I wasn't going. I had already been there.
The boys didn't like it. It was
but we enjoyed the beach. We enjoyed the activities on the beach.
Yeah,
and we walked and walked and walked. We enjoyed the sunset.
We did. It was beautiful.
My goodness. We could have just slept there for real. We didn't even have to go to the hotel. We were there the whole day.
I got to play basketball in Venice Beach.
Yes,
that was
so
pretty.
Cool.
That was cool. Yeah. I blocked this guy was 7 foot. I blocked a shot.
Go ahead and squeeze that on in there.
In slides. I had on slides too.
Sure did.
Yeah, blocked a shot.
What did your son have on? He had on. Did he have on slides?
No.
Y'all both had on slides, didn't you?
No, he had on some shoes because he don't go nowhere without his J's. So.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So there it is. Anyway, what's next?
All right. So the next one is cold weather.
I don't. No, don't do that. Let me tell you something.
No, I don't. You do.
No, it's not that I do.
You do like cold weather.
No, what I like is, because we're in the South, and I find it hilarious that when there's a snowflake, the whole city shuts down.
Well, I find that hilarious too. That ain't got nothing to do with you liking cold weather. So what's your point?
It's not that I like cold weather. I like snow. I do.
Okay. So in the wintertime.
If we can have snow and it's 80 degrees outside. In the wintertime
and you don't wear a jacket outside or you walk outside in shorts. That was literally you last week. Literally. And I said, babe, don't you had on a jacket, you had on shorts and some slides. And I said, babe, don't you want to put on some pants? No, I'm good. That wasn't you.
I was in the garage.
Which is cold.
But I mean, I can close the garage.
It was cold. It was 30 degrees. It was less than 30 degrees that day.
I was working on the water heater.
That's not the point.
To fix it.
See, there was no way you would ever catch me like that in the cold.
Listen, you're not going to tell me I like something I don't like. So,
well, I don't know what it is. You anyway, lukewarm like it? I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Game over.
I for real don't like cold weather. You kind of like it. How about that?
This is where you put more coins in if you want to keep playing. But I'm done.
It's all right. It's all right. Okay.
All right. So now we have a special treat for y'all. We have invited, you hear us talk about our church. Kenya mentioned a little earlier about the limitless theme for the year. So what we have done is we have invited our pastor, the senior pastor of the New Life Seventh-day Adventist Worship Center here in Huntsville, Alabama, Pastor Nelson B. Stokes.
Mercy. The very senior pastor.
Well, now, come on now. When somebody says, I'm doing all right for an old person, who told you were old?
Right. Yeah.
Right?
So sometimes my body tells me. But
okay.
That's all.
All right. Yeah. Our body has a way of reminding us of how many miles we put on it.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So anyway, just a couple things I want to share is in terms of introduction.
Yes, sir.
Right. So you and your wife, right? So we call her Miss Misi, don't we?
Yes.
You've been married for 44. Did you say that? 44?
44. It'll be 44.
Okay, 44.
44 in June.
Yeah. And guess what? I know that it's going to be on June 21st.
Yes.
It just so happens we share that anniversary date.
Just not the years.
Just not the year.
No. The date, but not the years.
And you have pastored for 30 years, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
okay,
sir.
So, all right. So, listen, I am so grateful, and we are so grateful to have you on the Marriage Be Like podcast. So, what are you sharing with us today? Because I think you're gonna surmise our love month, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right.
That's what Miss Kenya asked me to do.
Okay, all right.
So I'm going to do exactly what she's asked of me. First of all, I love you all's theme. It catches me every time, and then I love what you all are doing with regard to this podcast. It's special. It's coming from a couple that is in the midst of living it out. And so thankful for you guys and for what you all are doing to this podcast.
Yes, sir.
But in closing out, I'm excited about this month being Love Month, the month of Black love in particular. But what I learned about Black love is it's not all about romantic love. It's about community. It's about building, fostering racial harmony. It's about doing those things that are positive for the upbuilding of lives, period. And while it's called Black love, it is an opportunity for the healing and bringing back racial harmony. And I think that's awesome goal to reach for. It's something that we all have to reach for and strive for, even in the midst of all that we're going through in life. So I'm celebrating Black love. I'm celebrating Black love, but I have to pause for a moment and celebrate the fact that Black love also means romantic love. It means spending time with the one that the Lord has given to you, and loving on that person and allowing that person to love on you as well. And so I'm excited. We celebrate 44 years together, loving each other and being together, going through the ups and the downs, the highs and the lows, but always realizing that there's nothing like being with the person that the Lord has given to you. And so I just want to encourage couples, those of you that are married, those of you that are in the process of looking, those of you who are saying, you know what, I'm going to pass. However, wherever you fall in this great divide, I just want to challenge you to hold on. Remember, love yourself, love God, and love the person that God has placed in your life. But I think it's so important for us to love God so that we can adequately love ourselves, so that we can be a better lover to the person that God puts in our life or who He has already put in our lives. And I don't have any more to say with regard to that. I think that's the great quotient for loving, is that, Lord, help me to love who you created. That's me, so that I can love the person that is a part of my life. And putting those three components together make us strong for whoever is a part of our lives.
You know, I really, really appreciate what you just said there, because, you know, we were talking about the 5 love languages in this episode and last week's episode. And what you're saying is, hey, listen, God has created me to love somebody. And oftentimes we have deduced speaking our spouse's love language to giving of ourself, right? Giving of ourself and really just pouring into our spouse. And that's really just still in line with what you just said. You know, God created me to love this special person that He has given to me.
Yes.
And I pray, I pray that I can continue, because well, you know what? My real prayer is that God still gives my wife the strength to deal with me.
Amen. That's your prayer. That's my prayer too. And I concur with your prayer for Kenya, that God give her strength. But I also pray that prayer for Sister Misi, that God give her strength to hold on, don't let go.
That's right.
I always tell her, I said, if you did leave, where are we going?
Right.
Yeah. You know,
I mean,
but she's been such a blessing to me and to ministry, and I'm thankful for her being a part of my life all this time. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you two look like a beautiful couple together.
She makes the beauty. I'm
okay.
Yeah. She's the one.
Okay. I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that. Well, all right. Well, again, we really appreciate. We got to have you back.
I'd love it. I love what you all are doing. I like I said, I love the theme, and then what you all did this month, and what you all are going to do the months after. And I pray God will use you all to minister to so many people. And so keep doing what you guys are doing.
Yes, sir. Listen, again, this is our pastor, my pastor, Pastor Nelson B. Stokes, from the New Life Seventh-day Adventist Worship Center here in Huntsville, Alabama.
Amen.
Listen, you can catch us on our website at newlifehsv.org.
Amen.
newlifehsv.org.
Tell them.
Yeah. Check us out. And you can actually, because we're live streaming every week.
Yeah.
Every week. And that man that you just heard, you should hear him on Saturday morning.
let me say this. I don't know how to take this coming from Kenny right now. This is a different Kenny that I'm talking to right now.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna take all of this in as long as I can, because I know it's gonna drop pretty soon. So we'll stay together right now.
Once we stop the
yes,
recording.
Yes.
This is Podcast Kenny you're talking to.
Yes. All right. Amen. I'm gonna try to get Podcast Kenny more often.
More often.
Amen.
All right. Well, Pastor, again, we really appreciate it, and we look forward to we'll talk with Kenya about when you're going to be on the next Marriage Be Like podcast. Okay.
I love it.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we thank you for listening to the Marriage Be Like podcast.
For joining us.
Yes, and we will carry on next week.
Yes.
Next week, when we can figure out how to stop arguing with each other.
We don't argue, babe. We discuss.
We discuss passionately. Thank you for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.